Andrea awoke with dread in her heart. What little rest she had managed to get was not enough to relieve the exhaustion she always carried. The arrival of a new day promised only more stress, more tragedy, and more pain. She felt the immediate urge to flee. It was here, in her own home, where she was completely safe, that she felt the most uneasy, particularly in the mornings. Each day, she found herself full of anxiety, her mind constantly worried and filled with grim thoughts, the expectations she couldn't meet, the relationships she didn't know how to manage, the inescapable sensation that she was always at risk. Mommy, Mommy, I have to go soon, Marcus pleaded from her bedroom doorway. Get out of bed. Okay, sweetheart, let Graham get you ready. I'll be out in a minute. She tried her best to sound sweet and motherly. She really wanted to tell the child to leave her alone, and she hated herself for feeling that way. Lately, she's always felt so overwhelmed, and her emotional capacity was too low to be the person and the mother she wanted to be. She threw her robe on and tried not to think about her feelings. Work had always been an escape for her. There she felt like she knew who she was. There she had a purpose and knew what to do. Focus and purpose made the noise fade. It helped her feel normal. It was cathartic and almost therapeutic doing what she did. It felt as if she could heal her wounds by tending to the pain of others. He needs lunch money today, Graham told her when she finally showed herself at the breakfast table. Why can't he take a lunch? Andrea asked. It's a field trip, Marcus exclaimed. Eat your cereal. Hurry up, Graham instructed him. Take the money from the change jar, Andrea grumbled. She poured herself a cup of coffee and opened the fridge to retrieve the milk. We're out of milk, Graham informed her. You'll have to settle for black. Andrea sighed and shut the fridge door with frustration. Marcus stared at her with unease. Hurry up and eat, child, Graham chided. I have to get dressed, Andrea muttered, taking her black coffee to her bedroom. Their North Charleston apartment wasn't much to look at. Uneven walls with sheetrock that failed to meet the floor provided ample passage for roaches and even rats. Wiring hung loosely from the tiles of a poorly installed drop ceiling. The windows were too old to hold back the elements. The drywall was cracked, the countertops worn through, and the linoleum peeled and curled. The complex it was located in was in a similar state of disrepair. Built in the 1980s, it housed low-income families and the elderly. It was cramped, too. Andrea and Marcus took the bedrooms, while Graham slept on the couch. The three of them made do with a tiny bathroom with unreliable plumbing. On weekends, Andrea would drive their laundry down the block to the North Chuck Wash and Go. That and her late-night trips to the bar were the only times she ever used her car. Most of the time, she left it with Graham so she could bring Marcus to school and drive him to soccer practice. Leave it to her child to want to play the only sport not offered in North Charleston. In the shower, Andrea closed her eyes and let the hot water embrace her. The heat comforted and soothed her, and she found herself unwilling to get out. But her son would be leaving any minute and would want to say goodbye. Then she would have to catch the bus to work. Begrudgingly, she turned off the water. Marcus was a sweet boy, still as innocent as an 8-year-old should be. Andrea prided herself on that. Everything she had done since the moment she had discovered she was pregnant had been to protect him and enable him that innocence. He didn't know about how ugly the world could be, how cruel people were, or how broken they could become. She didn't want him to see the world as a frightening place like she and Graham did, just as her mother had. Graham did not agree. She saw the world as a dangerous place and felt that sheltering Marcus from that truth was failing to prepare him for the realities he would face. But for Andrea, there was plenty of time to teach him about all that. For now, he was still young enough that he did not have to worry about it. Andrea worked hard to ensure he didn't have to encounter it. That included sending him to school in Mount Pleasant, which required her to register him under her cousin's address. It wasn't technically legal, but it gave her son an advantage. Getting Marcus back and forth to school was a bit of a chore. Graham was more than willing to help, happy to see her great-grandson get advantages she had been unable to provide to his mother, though she was skeptical of the white, upper-middle-class environment. "I love you, sweetheart," Andrea told Marcus by the door before he left. She kissed his cheek and wrapped her arms around him tightly. "You have a good day, okay?" He nodded. "Do you have your soccer stuff?" "Yes," he replied, reaching for another hug. "It's in the car," Grandma assured her. "Bye, Mommy," Marcus whispered as they embraced. Andrea rose to her feet and kissed Graham on the cheek. "Have a good day." "You too, dear. Be safe," Graham said warily. Once Graham and Marcus left, Andrea retrieved a pack of cigarettes and a lighter from under the bathroom sink. She opened up the bathroom window, turned on the exhaust fan, and lit a smoke. She sat on the toilet, blowing the smoke out the window, trying not to think about her life. Her cell rang. "Yeah, what do you want, Paulson?" she asked, exhaling a waft of smoke. "Good morning to you too, sunshine," Captain Mitchell Paulson replied. "I've got 10 minutes before I have to leave to catch my bus. You're interrupting my me time, Captain. What is it?" "Heaven forbid." "All right, listen, you know I don't give a shit about this, but..." "Oh, for Christ's sake. It's Deputy Chief Mulholland, Dre. I'm sorry. He says if you don't keep seeing Dr. Lee, he's going to put you on leave." Deputy Chief Marshal Mulholland's word was not questioned by those who knew what was good for them. It was rare to see a black man climb the ranks at North Charleston PD, and Mulholland had done it at a time when it was even harder. He hadn't kissed ass or gotten dirty to get there either, unlike some others. Marshal Mulholland made rank by working his ass off and slowly earning the respect of everyone in the department. To Andrea and many of the other black officers, he was a mentor. Had anyone else tried to force her to see a therapist, she would have quit the damn job. But Marshal was different. "Fine," she sighed. "I'll set something up next week." "Sounds great to me, but the deputy chief says you're grounded till you see the doc." "Are you fucking kidding me?" "I know. I set up a 2 o'clock appointment for you. Why don't you stay at home and take it easy until then?" "Mitchell, are you kidding me?" "I'm sorry, Trey. Just go sit down with her and tell her your feelings for half an hour, all right? Can you do that for me?" She hesitated, but she knew there was no fight to be had. "Fine. Then she'll clear you and we can do the Carson raid when you're done, okay? It's not like I have a choice." "Just tell her what they want to hear. You know how this shit works. I'll see you later today. Promise you won't move on Carson without me." "You have my word." She hung up the phone and slammed her fist into her leg.